So here we are again, and part 3. And another thing I often see beginner quad flyers do is tilt their camera way up, which is brilliant for going fast. So they all start doing this, and this is great. Anyone can do this. Trouble is, on a beginner, it's very easy to let the quad fly away a little quick and get out of control. What you need to make sure you do is have the finesse to fly slowly if you can, especially for landings. So always make sure you can fly nice and slow and bring it down to hover if you need to. Like, I've got some people going past here, so I don't want to be flying around them. Just going to let them go past. Morning.
Morning.
Oh,
Got a bit of
I got one chasing me here. I don't think they'll get me. I might be faster.
Go on. Come on.
Maybe they'll run some energy off for you. Okay, we'll just do that clear. Right. So the reason finesse needs to be good, and the reason you need to be able to see, is for manoeuvres like landing. Now, also, bear in mind you're landing where you want to come in from. If I were to come in from here, it's not a great idea because the sun is sort of hurting my view a bit there, so I can't see my detail. So just about picking where you're going to come in from. Now I like this one because I can see the path. So what I do, I'm going to come in slowly. Now, should I happen to go a bit fast, rather than try and dump it down, just go around again.
7, 6, 5,
Shut my time up.
3.
So when landing, especially starting off, once you know what you're doing, you can probably dump it down in a sort of postage stamp. But beginning, use a reference like this path. I can see myself there. I can see where the ground is, and I can see my shadow. These are all useful things to try and determine my height. So I'm not trying to come in and suddenly stop like that. I'm trying to approach slowly. When I'm close enough, lean off the power. Oops. He says doing it wrong. And flop. We're down.
So what is the right angle for your flying? Well, it depends, but much like what we talked about with the PIDs and pretty much everything else, you need to start off quite conservatively and then build up. Don't try and build up by saying, I've done this, let's whop it up by 40 degrees and see what happens now. My current one, which is sort of my general purpose quad, I think this is about 30 degrees. It's printed on this mount here. And that works for me. I can just about see the ground, and I've got, you know, a reasonable turn of speed coupled with the wide angle of the lens and what the GoPro can do. But it's sort of very personal point. And the guys that race, where you see their cameras facing right up, is because they're going like this pretty much all the time. But they don't come down for a regular landing. They sort of stop and drop pretty much. But we're not talking about racing here. We're talking about starting off. So if you can't comfortably land because you can't see the ground, then your camera is up too high. I went back and I found some footage of my first quad I flew on 4S, and this is it on the ground, and you can see that the horizon is just a little bit low. And as we go on to a flight here, this is going along with just moderate power, and it sort of flies along, and this is really easy to do. So I thought, oh, this is brilliant, like it's super fast. But as soon as I wanted to come in for a landing here, trying to sort of put the brakes on shows me just the sky. And you can see that I'm wanting to stop, but the quad is creeping forwards because the camera angle is such that it just, my angle is wrong, it's just forward still. And when I'm trying to control where I am, I'm often going up in the air because the power's wrong, because I can't get the right marks to look at and references on the ground. So it's a very laboured and rubbish landing. So that's a situation where I went too quickly and just tilted my camera way up before I needed to. However, there's a few other things you can do to help yourself out. This is an HS1177 camera, which is pretty much the same thing as the Runcam Swift, and it came standard with a 2.8 lens, 2.8mm that is, which is a fairly wide angle, but it's not as wide as you can get. And the 2.8 has been used for a long time, but people are starting to go to the 2.5 and the 2.3 lenses now, which give a wider angle. So that will allow you to get a little bit more of up angle and still be able to see your ground details. But you still want to go and test fly it and then move your camera up. Don't go super angle and then sort of can't handle this, put it down. Because it's something, again, you get used to. You can get used to only seeing a little bit at the horizon and then bump it up and up until you've got the right combination of speed and viewpoint that you want. But if you're doing a sort of general freestyle flying and just going around and having a laugh, then you really don't need that much. About that much works for me. But as I said, find the setting that works for you and go with that. But if you can't land it, then it's too much. It's also really important that your camera angle isn't such so when you are flying it and feeling like you should be going slowly, you're not flying along. You're not letting the quad fly itself, as it were. You need to be in control and feel you can stop all the time. Once again, if you feel that the quad's running away from you, then your angle is probably too much and you need to rein that in until you get used to it before you can zip it back again. On landings, once again, when you become much more comfortable and confident with your quad, you'll be able to zip it in, brake and just drop it down. For now, you want to approach it more like a plane. You want to go out and come down nice and gentle to your landing patch. This will allow you to have a look around you at the ground details and how close they're coming up. So you won't have to suddenly not see anything as you try and come in and brake and come down. You're coming down all the way. And if you get low enough, then you just move it along at low speed until you can just plop it down. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 4.